We are Man vs. Meeple, and for March 20th through April 2nd, 2017, this is What's Next.
Welcome back to What's Next, the bi-weekly show where David and I walk you through all the games coming to your friendly local gaming store. Of course, we will pick out the top 5 games that we are most excited to talk about. In doing so, I'm going to start off with number 5.
You got number 5.
Number 5 is the second big box expansion to Portal Games Imperial Settlers. It's called Aztecs. This one brings in new rules, new resources, and of course the Aztec faction, which includes now religion. And with this expansion, we're also getting a whole bunch of new cards for all of the previous factions, so they will now add religion to their particular factions. Now, this is if you haven't played Imperial Settlers before, it's a hand management, card drafting, civilization-style game in which each player is going to be using cards in a couple different unique ways to build up their faction board. So, very cool game. We've played it multiple times, and it came from his original game called 51st State, and this is kind of the next iteration of that.
Yeah, it's very similar to that. We haven't tried this one yet. I'm looking forward to trying the Aztecs to see how that changes things up.
I also have number 4, and number 4 is another game from Daily Magic. It's called Quests of Valeria. Now, we just did Villages of Valeria
not long ago.
Last week, so this is another game from them, but instead of a game like San Juan, this one is a set collection game in which each of the players will represent a guildmaster. And what they'll be doing is they'll be drafting these characters into their tableau or their guild in order to fulfill quests. But in order to fulfill the quest, you have to have particular people that can go out on those quests. And so your characters in front of you are acting like the resources because you'll have to pay those in order to do the quest. And each of those citizens have unique abilities, so when you draft them in, they give you bonus abilities to be able to do. So on your turn, you're basically taking 2 actions. You're either drawing cards, hiring citizens, reserving a quest, or completing a quest itself. And the first player to do 5 quests triggers the end of the game, and then you just go into victory points at that point.
And the artwork on this, just like Villages, is awesome. I love this artwork.
Yeah, their artwork and their graphic design in their games.
Yeah, they really nail it.
Top-notch. So.
Absolutely.
That's Quest of Valeria. You had number 3.
Number 3, we have Colosseum. Now, this is a new edition of this game, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining how it's played. A lot of people have played this. We've played it. I have to admit, I hadn't played it until this version came out. But it's got a lot of things going on. You're collecting these asset tokens, which are basically the resources that you're going to use, and you get those through an auction mechanism. There's a lot of different mechanisms at play here.
Right.
You're going to use those things to put on events at your Coliseum. So it's kind of like modern day, like if you were managing an event center or a stadium today, and all of the hectic things you have to do to manage that, but back in sort of Roman Colosseum times. Yeah. So you're putting on different events. You're trying to manage your spectators. There's different nobility around the board that you actually manipulate to try to get into your Coliseum.
To watch your event.
Yeah, to watch your event. You're expanding your Coliseums, doing all sorts of things to improve it, all in the quest to get some points. But the cool thing about this game is it's unbelievable looking compared to the old version, in my opinion.
Yeah.
This version has artwork very Disney-esque. Yeah. It may not be everyone's cup of tea, but I got to tell you, it is absolutely right up my alley. It's a beautiful, beautiful edition of this game. It's a 3 to 5 player game. Takes about 90 minutes. But Coliseum, definitely check it out.
Yeah, and check out our review, too. We did a review a couple months back.
Not long ago, yeah.
So check that out on our channel. Number 2 is a game that I'm really excited for. Now, my dad is a huge fisher, and I used to hide under the bed because I didn't want to go fishing with him. Now I'm going to introduce this game to him because it is a fishing board game, something we don't see a whole lot of. It's called Coldwater Crown. It kickstarted back in 2016, and it's now seeing a retail release. It's a worker placement game, which right there draws me in. But in this game, each player is going to be competing to catch the best variety of fish. Now, each player has a player board in front of them, and on that player board, they have 4 zones with tackle. And they're reusing that tackle, and when all the tackle gets released from one of the 4 zones, they always catch a fish. But the trick is trying to catch the right fish at the right time and the right variety, because those fish that you catch also give you trophies, depending on if you catch a good variety of them, when you catch them, from what lakes you catch them from, if you catch them from the shore, the lake, or the river. It's a really neat take on a worker placement game, plus it's got a little bit bit of a twist on the worker placement portion too, because each player will both be placing a worker, or in this case called an angler token, on the board. These angler tokens have two sides, a 1 and a 2. When you place it on the board, you place it on the one side or whichever side is available to you, and then you take one off the board. And when you take that off the board, you get the action of that space too, and then you flip it over so you have the opposite side, either the 1 or 2 that you've taken.
Yeah, it's very cool. I love when we see Euro-style games, particularly worker placement, one of your favorites, but with a theme that's so unique and different. It automatically makes us want to try it, because the market's screaming for different themes applied to some of these mechanics, and this one seems to be done really, really well.
I agree.
So number 1 this week is Castles of Caladale. This is from Renegade. This game, best described, it's a tile placement game. You're building your castle, but the best way to describe this thing is the greatest entry for any gamer to play a tile placement game, for one main reason. Most tile placement games, you're placing them. There's rules, of course, of how you can place them, but most games, when you place them, you're done.
Yeah.
That's where they stay. In this game, you can rearrange it throughout the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
So now that may sound like, that's going to bog things down, but the game is basically structured around drafting tiles. So you're going to have to draft a tile and either add it to your castle, or you can just set it aside and, add it to the castle whenever you want.
Yeah.
At the end of the game, you're going to be, there's like a minute. People have like a timer where, okay, we all have to finish our castles. So if you've screwed around and basically put a bunch of tiles to the side, then you've got a very short amount of time to try to get that castle finished. Mm-hmm. The other cool thing here, this is some of the coolest artwork and graphic design for these castles. It reminds me of some of those old coloring books that had these ridiculously ornate castles of all, and you'd look around almost in Where's Waldo fashion, with all these different types of things going on. It's a great, great little game, and like I said, an awesome entry to tile placement games for anyone.
And I think the reason why we picked this number 1 is because it's got a very good entry point for people that have both played games, that are enthusiast gamers in the market, and people that haven't played games, because it's very approachable. It's very easy to play.
Yeah, it's not just a simple game. I mean, it's easy to play, but what I like about this is kids will love it just to build castles. I mean, who doesn't like doing that? Yeah. But then, after you play it a few times, even those kids will start to pick up on like, this is how things score. Yeah. So maybe I want to try to build it this way. So then you start solving that puzzle. And I think that's what makes it a perfect sort of like gateway game, if you will.
We have a store in Dallas, Texas. Why don't you talk about what we have this week?
This week we have Common Ground Games in Dallas, Texas. And these guys are great. And I'll say it's right in the name. One of the things they pride themselves on is the fact that they are a place for all gamers. They are proudly owned, LGBT owned and operated. Cool. They have a lot of charity events that they're involved with in the Dallas area. They're involved with the Walk Life, or the Life Walk down in Dallas. They've participated in the Extra Life event, the 24-hour gaming marathon. They also have an LGBT game night every night. And they have a women's D&D night, which is not something you see every day, which is really, really cool. This is what the industry needs more and more of, so that we get more gamers involved. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that haven't played games yet that we want to bring into the gaming sort of scene. So take an example from these guys and really try to get out there and include as many people as possible into the gaming community.
And make sure you guys watch the ticker below. We have a full list of all the games coming out over the next 2 weeks. You can also come to our website. We'll have a list there for you guys to peruse. Go to your further local gaming store. Make sure you guys pre-purchase all these games that you so wish to buy. Come back in 2 weeks because we'll have another list of games
come back
coming.
In 2 weeks. And if you're a game store, send us your information so we can get that up there.
Absolutely. And thanks again for watching What's Next, guys, and we will catch you guys next time.
Bye-bye.